Now, page 4, the nefarious Democrat plan to mint new, malleable liberal voters. So the Democrats are now pushing a new kind of political cocktail designed to intoxicate the young. They now want to lower the voting age from 18 to 16. Now, think about that. A 16-year-old voting for president. Clearly, most 16-year-olds in this country are more focused on socializing than politicking, with a few exceptions. Unfortunately, truth is most 16-year-olds could not identify who the vice president is, let alone the 5 rights protected by the First Amendment. But they are well versed in abortion rights and climate change and income inequality. And that is exactly why the Democrats want 16-year-olds going to the polls. They are uneducated constitutionally, but they are indoctrinated politically. In other words, they're the products of the modern public school system, which is a wing of the modern Democrat Party. Therefore, it only makes sense that the Democrat leadership wants to tap into this radicalized future voting bloc as soon as possible. The overwhelming majority of these teenagers would vote for a Bernie Sanders type candidate, right? One who promises the moon while campaigning among the stars. Or they might be hoodwinked by a Democrat candidate for president who not only wants to give 16-year-olds the right to vote, but also wants to give them $1,000 a month basic universal income for life. This would be the crazy, self-depreciating entrepreneur from New York, Andrew Yang.
Now, if you've heard anything about me, you've heard that there's an Asian man running for president who wants to give everyone $1,000 a month.
Stop tape. So I would add one word to that. There's a socialist Asian man running for president who wants to give everybody $1,000 a month. This goes to the core of who we are as a constitutional, representative, and free market republic. This man is attacking the very foundation of this republic, and people need to understand how important this is. This has been tried. This isn't anything new. It's failed every time because it, in and of itself, this basic universal income, cuts right to the core of being a human being and self-worth. For example, they tried this in Finland just 3 years ago. They tried it for a year. They had a control group, and then they had another group of people, same amount of people, same demographic. They gave them slightly less than $1,000 a month. And the idea was, would the people who got the money go out and actually look for a job? Because they were all jobless. And so after a year, they found out, no, these people were not more likely who got the money to go out and find a job. They were more likely to go out and spend the money, but they weren't more likely to go out and find a job because it doesn't motivate. In fact, it demotivates. It would create an entire class of demotivated and unmotivated Americans. If this guy's scheme ever came to fruition, it would be certainly one of the elements that would drive this country into the permanent ditch. Roll tape.
And all of those things are true.
Stop tape. I would add one more thing. That if a guy like this is ever elected president of the United States, it might be over because his scheme is to go after the high-tech industry. He thinks that this is a golden opportunity to tax, for example, Silicon Valley. Now, if you're Google or Facebook or one of these other high-tech companies and you see this guy coming, what are you going to do? Well, you're probably going to pack up and you're going to leave the Bay Area, and you ain't going to relocate in the 50 United States. You're going to go outside the United States. You're going to go to China or somewhere where you're not going to be affected by a guy who wants to take the money that you earn and take the money, by the way, that your people earn and give it to somebody else. You will necessarily drive business, not just high tech. You're going to drive all kinds of business out of the continental United States because they're going to try and shelter what they make from a maniac like this. Roll tape.
But think about what $1,000 a month would mean for everyone in your families and communities.
Stop tape. Yeah, what it would do is it would create this class of people that would sit around sniffing glue all day. And I use that euphemism as an example of what can happen. And by the way, they're trying this, or they're attempting to try it in certain municipalities Stockton, California, is starting to try and give this basic universal income to certain sectors of people in that city in California.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.